Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. And, I just can't get it out of my head about all those horrible, horrible pro life centers that, women might walk into without realizing they're dangerous. Gotta close them down, gotta investigate, gotta stop this. It's horrible the way they treat women. Okay? So let's look at the places that the pro choice movement doesn't think need to be investigated. They don't think there needs to be any state oversight of abortion clinics at all. No. You can totally trust them. Totally. Goodness of their heart. They never do a bad thing. I'm going to read to you, I'm only eliminating the introductory paragraph. I'm going to read you a letter written to the Kansas House of Representatives in support of a bill requiring that abortion clinics be subject to inspections. Something that Elizabeth Warren and Jane's Revenge and Ruth Sent Us and the National Abortion Rights Action League, NARAL, Pro-Choice America, Planned Parenthood, National Abortion Federation, they are all vehemently opposed to any state oversight of abortion clinics. They think that these places are good enough. Keep that in mind. So this letter I'm going to read was written by a police officer, Detective William Howard, who had been called to Affordable Medicine Clinic by the owner, Dr. Krishana, Rajana, on a complaint that his employees were stealing money from him. Okay? So, and I'm going to share pictures. Okay? So, on September 18th, 2003, my partner and I went to investigate a theft reported by Dr. Krishana Rajana at the Affordable Medicine Clinic at 1030 Central Avenue in Kansas City, Kansas. Dr. Rajana took us to the rear area, which could be described as a break room, to discuss employees he held responsible for money missing from his business. During this interview phase, my partner and I made these observations. First, the doctor had an unkempt appearance. Dr. Rajana lacked personal hygiene. His hair was messy, hands dirty, and his clothing was wrinkled and stained. He put on old, used foot booties while we were there. The clinic was dirty inside. As we proceeded through the facility, I noted the back area was very dark and dingy looking, with poor lighting and smelling musty. We entered the break room to interview Rajana. There were dirty dishes in the sink and on the tabletop, trash everywhere, and roaches crawling across the countertops with the smell of a stench in the room. Frankly, I was reluctant to sit down. I noted that there weren't any containers for medical waste with universally recognized hazardous waste labels on them. On my way out, my partner observed that the procedure room was filthy. He told me he saw dried blood on the floor and the room looked nasty to him. The clinic was disorganized. Papers and other miscellaneous documents were strewn about, causing there to be clutter everywhere. Dr. Rajana apparently kept very poor records. He could not recall when these alleged thefts had occurred, nor was he organized enough to locate any documents to support his allegations. I also noticed that the assistants seemed to be running everything, though they were barely out of their teens. There were no credentials on the wall. One spoke only Spanish. I looked at the patient sign-in sheet as part of the investigation, and it consisted merely of notebook paper. This general lack of a professional and sanitary environment starkly contrasted with all my experiences inside other doctors' offices. It was determined that Dr. Rajana's theft charges could not be substantiated. Employees told us Dr. Rajana had such loose record-keeping practices concerning payroll checks that fraud could never be verified. Apparently, the employees are allowed to write out their own payroll checks because Dr. Rajana's printing is difficult to read. I was also given several checks to verify this for comparison, and his signature is indeed a scribble mark. I received full cooperation from the employees accused of the theft. They were initially treated as suspects, given their Miranda rights, and provided us with full statements. In a statement to me, one witness/suspect related how Dr. Rajana was a filthy man who did not properly sterilize his equipment. The medical equipment was cleaned with Clorox and water, then put in a dishwasher. The aborted fetuses were placed inside styrofoam cups and put in the refrigerator freezer next to TV dinners. The female witness went on to describe of how she and other girls actually witnessed Rajana microwave one of the aborted fetuses and stir it into his lunch. I have heard that some Middle Easterners eat the placenta from birth and that they believe this adds longevity to life. I thought maybe this could be what she was referring to. This witness claimed other employees who had seen him doing the very same thing. The initial witness related she felt she had been terminated because she was pregnant. She was repeatedly encouraged to terminate the pregnancy and told she would not serve as a good representative of this clinic by carrying the pregnancy to term. According to this witness, she was starting to feel compassion for the females who were being summarily ushered in and out without adequate recovery times. I became so disturbed by the condition of this medical clinic that I contacted District Attorney Nick Tomasic and requested a meeting to discuss these issues. Bear in mind, I am an experienced police officer who has worked in every aspect of law enforcement and had spent my last 5 years in the homicide unit where I have worked countless community deaths. I thought I had heard and seen every vile, disgusting crime scene, but was in for a new shock when I started this investigation. Nick Tomasic permitted me an appointment, so I brought the witness directly to him where she gave him a first-person statement of her account. I repeatedly warned her not to lie or exaggerate. The witness was also told she could be prosecuted for any false statements made from this moment forward, but that the prior statements would not be prosecutable. She told exactly the same story to D.A. Tomasic as she had told to us. I was informed that no laws had been violated. After this meeting, Mr. Tomasic told me that he would have his staff research the information for any law violations. Later, Mr. Tomasic provided me a list of 3 members and agencies I could contact to complain about this clinic. I personally contacted the numbers on the list. One of the people I talked to was a female from the Board of Healing Arts. I no longer have her name or any of the numbers I called regarding this investigation, but I believe I contacted the Board of Healing Arts and someone from Hazardous Waste Disposal Center. I do not recall the third agency. The person at the board, whose name I don't know, related that numerous complaints had been made about the clinic, but no laws had been violated. Finally, I gave this list of phone numbers to the witness and advised her that she could contact these numbers to describe the environment she had worked in, and this was my very last contact with anyone involved in this investigation. In March of 2004, I learned that an official investigation was underway and was requested to give a statement. My partner has testified as to these same events April 30th, 2004, before a group of senators here at the Capitol at the request of Senator Kerr. Okay, this is what the abortion lobby, the pro-choice movement, considers good enough. Make of that what you will.